Once again, a very good morning to all of you. Let us begin our session where we have been studying about mechanical properties of solids. So first of all, let's have a look at what we studied in the last class. What we studied in the last class. So let's have a look at what we studied, then we'll continue. See, the very first thing when you consider types of stress, like we have seen longitudinal stress, where the force acts perpendicular to the surface, and that is again two types, tensile stress and compressive stress. So tensile stress causes increase in length and compressive stress causes decrease in length. But both are nothing but longitudinal stress which causes change in length and the corresponding strain is also there. So that is what longitudinal stress. So longitudinal stress, volume stress and shear stress. So the three types of stress exist and longitudinal is again two types we have studied. Then what is longitudinal stress? Just before we have studied, that is the normal force per unit area. Every stress is force by area only. But tangential stress is also force by area. But the condition is force must be perpendicular to the surface, as I am showing. See, this is force parallel to the surface. This is force perpendicular to the surface. Now, what is the difference between tensile and compressive stress? Of course, we have studied this also. That is, the difference between tensile and compressive stress is tensile causes increase in length, compressive causes decrease in length. That is the difference between tensile and compressive stress. And what is volume stress? So volume stress nothing but in our syllabus like pressure. So the force per area which is acting on a body such that acts equally from all the directions. So just try to understand here. So here you consider the book. All of you able to see the book? Are you able to see the book which I am showing? Now if you take the book, see here there are different surfaces. So total 6 faces will be there. Now the force should apply on each face equally at a time so that the shape remains same but the size decreases. Then we call it as volume stress. Just like you take a ball, but if you apply force, then the shape will change. Spherical shape won't be there. Just like you take a smiley ball and press it. But if you take the same solid ball and if you keep it inside the water, what happens is, if you keep the solid ball inside the water, at each and every point the pressure will act. Nothing but force per unit area. At each and every point. Perpendicular to the surface. Perpendicular to the surface. Such that the sphere remains as sphere only, but size slightly decreases. So that we call it as volume stress. Nothing but pressure. So that is what volume stress. And that is also force by area. But here in our syllabus, we take only liquid case. That is solid spherical body placed inside the liquid. That's why we call it as volume stress. And what is shear stress? What is shear stress? Shear stress means what we studied. When the surface is fixed at the bottom and you apply force parallel to the surface, then what happens? Then the surface gets deviated from its position, just like this. So this bottom is fixed. Now it slightly got displaces. Then this force, the force applying on the top surface parallel to the surface, that force by area is called shear stress. And what are the types of strain? The three types of strain corresponding: longitudinal strain, delta L by L; volume strain, delta V by V; shear strain, theta or tan theta, that is delta X by L. Delta X is shift in the position, this one, and L is the side length. Then afterwards, we have also taken what is Hooke's law, where we studied that, or we concluded that under elastic limit, under what limit? Elastic limit. That means the body can regain its original shape even after you remove the deforming force. That limit we call it as elastic limit. And within the elastic limit, always stress on a body, solid body, is directly proportional to strain. So the curve or the graph between stress and strain must be a straight line passing through origin, and slope of the stress strain graph is equal to stress by strain equal to modulus of elasticity. And that modulus of elasticity, again it will be three types. One is Young's modulus, another is bulk modulus, another is rigidity modulus. So those three things we will study today. What are the expressions for those and what are the equations? We will see it. But before that, let us try to understand what are the types of material, what is stress strain curve graph looks like for a solid body in general manner. The first thing what we will study today is stress strain curve. See, here I am showing you the clear diagram of stress strain graph. See here. So the graph is, so look at the graph. The y-axis I have taken stress, x-axis I have taken strain. Now when you initially, this is the point. So that means you have not applied any deforming force yet. You have not applied any deforming force now. Now when you apply the deforming force, when you start applying deforming force, then what happens is the stress develops. As stress develops, strain also develops. So stress increases means strain also increases up to a particular point. So up to a particular point, stress and strain changes such that stress proportional to strain. That is called proportionality limit. See the point A. Up to point A, the graph looks like a straight line passing through origin. That means this region, what law it obeys is stress is proportional to what? Strain. Stress is proportional to strain. Now at this point, means after increasing to this value, if you remove the deforming force, then the body can regain its original shape. It will come back. That's why it is what region we call it as elastic region. And after that, still you increase the force. You even increase the applied force, deforming force after that proportionality limit. So there is a particular value for proportionality limit, suppose 100 Newton. Now you increased beyond that, then the proportionality it loses. Here there is a curve coming, graph won't be straight line now, proportionality limit lost. But what is still there in the substance is it can still regain its original shape up to a particular limit. Let's take suppose up to 120 Newton. So that point we call it as elastic limit or yield point, because if you apply up to 120, just example I am telling, it may be 200, 300, up to a particular limit you can apply and you remove, then the body can regain its original shape. That we call it as elastic limit. So that here the point B is called elastic limit or yield point. and from A to B also elastic region. So this complete blue color is elastic region. That means even though proportionality lost, still the body can regain its original shape. That's why that region, what region we call it as elastic region, we clearly mentioned. And from B to C, what happens, you know? Now after 120 Newton, you still increase the force. Then the body get deforms permanently. There is a slight change happens permanently. That here I am representing. See, after that, there is a permanent change. It will not regain its original shape. It will go to another point. So that permanent change, we call it as permanent set. But that is always less than 1%, not more than 1%. But after that, still you increase the stress. See, for a small increase in stress, only this much stress I increased, but this much strain happened. For a small change in stress, for a small change in deforming force, the change in dimension becomes huge. So that's why this region where it cannot regain, permanent changes are happening. That's why it is called plastic region. So that you keep on apply, it will bear some maximum stress. So that is called breaking stress. Suppose 200 Newton, maximum it can bear. You apply 200 Newton, nothing will happen. But after reaching that, even if you apply lesser than that, then the body will break. And that point where the body will break, that we call it as fracture point. So proportionality point, elastic limit, breaking stress, fracture point. So theoretical questions can be asked in the board level or entrance point of view. And below it, I have given clear notes for this also. Let's have a look at it. What is elastic region? What is plastic region? What is the meaning of proportionality limit? What is the meaning of breaking stress? All those things. So breaking stress here, nothing but what? Breaking stress is nothing but force by area only. But the maximum stress it can bear. So that after that, it will break. The material can break. That's why it is called breaking stress and fracture point. Now, here if you see the stress strain curve, again, I have shown you the graph for one particular material when you consider. See here, everything again we mentioned what is permanent set, what is elastic region, what is plastic region, what is fracture point, what is elastic limit. And here I represented clearly from O to A, stress is found proportional to strain. So Hooke's law is obeying. And from point A is known as proportionality limit, and in the region A to B, stress strain are not proportional, but they still return to original shape. That's why that point is called elastic limit. And point B is also called as yield point, and the corresponding stress is called yield stress. If stress increases beyond point B, then there is a permanent change, and that we call it as permanent set. And beyond point C, for small stress, the strain produced is large up to point D. The wire will break at point D called fracture point of wire. So that is what this one. See here. For a small change in stress, there is a larger change in the strain. That is what they are telling. That is what even I explained. So here everything I have given like a notes so that you can read, you can understand, and you can make clear notes on your own. So just try to understand, try to define, try to make the notes in your own way and ask me if there is any doubt so that we can discuss it. So if there is any doubt, please ask me, please message me. So this is what stress strain curve. Based on the stress strain curve, we divide the materials into two types. One is ductile, another one is brittle. Examples also I have given for that materials. But here we need to understand what is the meaning of ductile and what is the meaning of brittle. See, brittle means after elastic limit, you cannot stretch to greater length like glass. One example. You cannot stretch to greater length. You cannot make greater changes. That's why it is called brittle. So that means in terms of stress strain curve, what you will say is the gap between elastic limit and breaking stress is very less. See here, the gap is very, very less. But if you consider the other one ductile, see the gap is huge. You can extend to very greater length. It may not come back, that doesn't matter, but you can stretch it to greater length. So you can make the greater changes in the dimensions. Such material, what we call it as ductile material. So ductile and brittle. So the difference depends on the difference between the elastic limit and breaking point or breaking stress or fracture point. So if that difference is huge, ductile, which can be stretched to longer lengths, and brittle means which is having lesser gap between those two. So that cannot be extended to greater lengths. So that is what ductile and brittle. Sometimes they will ask even for 2 marks, 1 marks, what is the meaning of ductile material, brittle material, what is the example? Sometimes in CET and NEET level, they can also ask question, give one, which of the following is example for ductile material or brittle material? And what is the difference between ductile and brittle? So try to understand everything. So these are the two types of materials we divide based on the stress strain curve. Now, the one important point, the next one is breaking stress. So the breaking stress means already we understood. And the formula is also nothing but force by area. See, breaking stress is maximum force that can be applied on a cross-sectional area of a material in such a way that material is unable to withstand any additional amount of stress. That is the maximum it can bear. If you increase a little bit also, it will break, and that only we call it as breaking stress. So the stress which we can apply before it is breaking, before the material gets breakdown, that stress we call it as breaking stress. So the breaking stress formula is also force by area. But here few questions they will give based on breaking stress, that is F1 by A1 equal to F2 by A2. So breaking stress for one material, breaking stress for another material. In comparison, they can ask you. Or they can also ask, suppose sigma is breaking stress and that is proportional to 1 by area, or that is proportional to R square if you consider a rod. Rod means cylindrical shape. So cylindrical shape means what kind of area will be there? Circular area with a radius R. So that they can ask comparison questions also. So breaking stress for one material is sigma 1. What is the breaking material for another one whose radius is double or half? Like that they will ask comparison based question. These comparison based questions are very, very important in the whole physics syllabus, not in this chapter. In every chapter it will come. In every chapter we will discuss separately. Here I have just given an idea. In the coming class, we will discuss those questions in detail, and I will only solve few numericals so that you will get idea. Then afterwards, I will give you few questions as assignment, which you can try and which you can ask me if you have any doubt in that particular question. So that is what breaking stress. And one more thing you need to understand here, that is malleability. Malleability means we are talking about stretching. Suppose if you start compressing, there also one yield point will be there, means elastic limit will be there, and that point we call it as crushing point. The yield point obtained under compression we call it as crushing point. So after that yield point, nothing but crushing point. In case of compression, the metals are said to be malleable. You can you can bend them. That is, they can be hammered or rolled into thin sheets. Example, gold, silver, lead, etc. So the goldsmith, they will make ornaments based on this property only. So they will first do this thing. So then only they can bend it or roll it or something. They make some arrangement and they can make design of ornaments with the help of gold or silver. Because that is nothing but what? One of the solid. Now, next thing, elastomers. What is the meaning of elastomers is, the best example is rubber, eraser. You can stretch it easily. See, the materials, see here I have written clearly, the materials which can be elastically stretched to large volumes of strain are called elastomers. Example, rubber. Rubber can be stretched. You take a rubber band and pull it. It will become very long. But still it can regain its original length when the deforming force removed. But there is no well-defined plastic region. But immediately after particular region, it will break. See, because you try to understand that you take a rubber band and stretch it this much, it will come back. You stretch it this much, it will come back. But a slight permanent change happens that is negligible, and when you are stretching at a particular point, suddenly it breaks. You cannot realize what exactly the plastic region. Such material we call it as elastomers, and for that the stress strain graph looks like as shown in the diagram. It looks like a parabolic graph. And here in our body, human body also, they gave one example, that elastic tissue of Artha. You might be having the better idea on this one. If you have any doubt, you ask the unanswer once, where it is nothing but the large blood vessel carrying blood from the heart. So that can stretchable, that can stretch and compress. It can come back. That is what we call it as here elastomer, for which the stress strain curve is as shown below. Just I have given one example. Even in human body is also the vessel through which the blood circulation happens from the heart, that also acts like an elastomer. That means that can be stretched. So that is what the meaning of elastomers. And the best example for elastomer is rubber. Now, they can ask questions in the entrance based on the stress strain curve also, where they have given stress strain curve for two different materials, and they are asking the question, which material has greater Young's modulus? Young's modulus nothing but modulus of elasticity. Modulus of elasticity nothing but stress by strain. Stress by strain nothing but slope of the graph under elastic limit. So slope of the graph means tan theta, where tan theta is the angle made by the graph with x-axis. So here if you consider theta 1 and theta 2, from the given diagram, theta 1 greater than theta 2. So for material A, slope is more, tan theta more. So stress by strain ratio more. So that modulus of elasticity more. But here they specifically telling the first one, that is Young's modulus, which we will study now. Don't worry. Just you take it as modulus of elasticity. Whose modulus of elasticity is more? The material Y. Why? Because its slope is more. Because The modulus of elasticity stress by strain is equal to slope of the graph. That is the first question. Now, which material is more ductile? See here, we have just before defined what is ductile and brittle. Ductile means huge gap, brittle means small gap. Now, if you compare the same thing here, who has less gap, who has more gap? See here, if you consider the material A, the gap is comparatively little bit more. But for B, comparatively little bit less. That's why it is brittle. So material A is ductile because it has greater plastic region. So greater the plastic region and it is ductile. Otherwise it is brittle. Comparatively only. Comparatively you can say one is brittle, one is ductile. Now material B is more brittle. Of course, A is ductile means obviously B is brittle. And which of the two is stronger material? Whose elastic coefficient is more? That is more stronger. That's why here material A is stronger because its modulus of elasticity is more. More a modulus of elasticity means it can bear more stress because modulus of elasticity is directly proportional to stress. So that's why more stress, more modulus of elasticity. So its breaking stress is more. That's why it is stronger. So like that, sometimes they may give questions based on this one. So this is all about the stress strain curve. Read everything. More theory is there. So try to understand each and every point. Whatever one point you have doubt, please message me. I'll give you the immediate clarification, or else in the afternoon I'll clarify your doubt if there is any doubt. Now the next thing, as I said, types of modulus of elasticity. And we have already said there are three types of modulus of elasticity. Young's modulus Y, and bulk modulus B or K. We represent with B or K. And rigidity modulus is eta. Now, Young's modulus is when length changes. When length changes, the corresponding stress by strain is called Young's modulus. That means longitudinal stress, longitudinal strain. Bulk modulus is the one when volume changes. What should change? Volume. So what is the definition? It will become volume stress by volume strain. And rigidity modulus is when position changes. That means what? Shift in the position. Nothing but what? Shear stress and shear strain. So we have three types of stress. So that three types of strain, obviously corresponding three types of modulus of elasticity also will be there. That is what? Three types of modulus of elasticity. Young's modulus, bulk modulus, rigidity modulus. Now, first if you consider Young's modulus, as I said, what should change, man? Length should change. So length is changing means what stress will come? Longitudinal stress. What is the corresponding strain? Longitudinal strain. So every Young's modulus is defined as stress by strain. But here specifically length is changing. That's why it is called ratio of longitudinal stress to the longitudinal strain. That is what. So here I have shown you that when you apply some force, then the length increases by some amount, delta L, where L is initial length, then delta L by L is longitudinal strain, and force by area is called longitudinal stress. So that the longitudinal stress by longitudinal strain or tensile stress by tensile strain. So where, just for example, I have given Young's modulus of steel is 200 gigapascal. Giga means what? Mega means 10 power 6. Giga means 10 power 9. So the Young's modulus for steel is 200. Giga means 10 power 9. Pascal, nothing but 2 into 10 power 11. Newton per meter square or else Pascal. So this is the Young's modulus. So already we studied what is longitudinal stress, what is longitudinal strain. Here we have just defined the ratio is called one constant. That is what we are calling it as Young's modulus. Now similar way, so let's just write the formula. So Y equal to F by A longitudinal stress by delta L by L equal to FL by A delta L. So because L will go up, A will come down. So this is the formula for Young's modulus, FL by A delta L. Or else if they ask what is the extension, then delta L equation will become, take delta L to left side, bring Y to right side. So it will become denominator. So this is the formula for extension in a wire whose Young's modulus is Y, whose area of cross section is A, which is equal to pi r square, where r is radius and L is length, initial length. F is the load applied or load exerted or the force applied. So that is what. Like here I have given one example. See the question. Determine the elongation of the steel bar 1 meter long and 1.5 centimeter square cross sectional area when subject to a pull off. See every data they have given. We have to find delta L and the length is given 1 meter and area is 1.5 centimeter square. But you need to convert, that is 10 power minus 4 meter square. Sorry, 10 power minus 4 meter square. And Young's modulus also they have given 2 into 10 power 11 Pascal. And the force applied is 1.5 into 10 power 4 Newton. All the data I have taken. Now what is the formula? What they are asking? Delta L. Just before I have given. So just substitute in this formula delta L equal to. So if you substitute, then what else is remaining? Just you need to take care about proper calculation without any mistake. So such kind of simple questions they can ask in the entrance point of view. Now, sometimes what they do is, see here, suppose there is a fixed support. Now, from the fixed support, you suspended a wire, massless wire, and you attached some mass. Then it is the case like a wire is getting some force which is equal to weight of the body attached, that is mg. Then the stress will become force by area, so that is this one. Force plus mg will come. Area is same pi r square. And longitudinal strain means delta L by L. That is here delta L they have taken as small l. So normal stress by longitudinal strain. So that is Young's modulus. When they mention the wire is massless, but one block of mass m attached to its end, then the load which is applied on it is equal to the weight of the body attached to it at the lower end, that is mg. So in place of capital F, what you need to substitute here? Mg, that's it. Now, the next one is bulk modulus. See, as I said, volume stress, volume strain means when force applied on the body at each and every point in perpendicular directions as shown. At each and every point it should happen so that there is a decrease in volume uniformly from all the sides equally, like this. So it was like this and it became like this. So there is a decrease in the volume, that is minus delta V. As it is decreased, we represent with minus, and the bulk modulus will become, bulk modulus means the bulk stress by bulk strain. that is minus delta V by V. But here we are considering one case. What is that? You keep the body inside the liquid so that liquid will apply pressure in all the directions equally. That's why here stress, the volume stress, we take it as pressure divided by minus delta V by V, where delta V is final volume minus initial volume. But final volume is lesser than initial volume. That's why it is negative. Or you can take cube case also. That also I have shown here. But formula remains same. Or one more thing also you remember here. So B equal to, even you can write like this also. See, delta P also you can write. Because sometimes what they will mention is already some pressure is there, P1. Now you increase the pressure to P2. Then delta P means change in pressure, P2 minus P1. If they give only pressure, that means initial pressure 0, final pressure P, so P minus 0. So they can ask the question in any manner, but P or delta P in the numerator is nothing but what? Increase in pressure. Increase in pressure. So that is the bulk modulus. And negative sign represents only one thing, that there is a decrease in the volume. And the reciprocal of bulk modulus is called compressibility. So how much it can get compressed, that depends on bulk modulus. More bulk modulus means less compressibility. It can resist more. So that's why there is a factor we can define which is reciprocal of bulk modulus, which is named as compressibility. Compressibility K, nothing but reciprocal or 1 by bulk modulus. So this is the definition of what? Bulk modulus. Like based on this also one simple question I have shown you. See here, find the decrease in volume. Find the decrease in volume of a sample, where initial volume is this one, pressure is this one. This is initial pressure, this is final pressure. See here, they have given initial pressure, they have given final pressure. Now delta P or P in the numerator will become what? P2 minus P1. That's why bulk modulus will become what? P by delta V by V or minus P by. So that V will go up. So delta V equation, if you write it, minus PV by B. That is what this one. Where P or delta P nothing but what I have to substitute? P2 minus P1. 10 power 6 minus 10 power 5. Volume, initial volume, that is this one. But here centimeters, sorry, it should be centimeter cube, not centimeter square. Because the volume always meter cube or centimeter cube. And 1 centimeter cube equal to 10 power minus 6 meter cube. That's why here they substituted what? 10 power minus 6. I told you very clearly, conversion is really very, very important. Always you need to substitute in terms of SI unit system. Then only you will get the proper answer. So that they are asking what? Delta V. So write the formula for delta V. Collect the data what they have given. Take the proper conversion. Then substitute and do the calculation. So that you will get the answer. So based on Y, based on B, anything they can ask question in the entrance. Now here I have given clearly what is the equation, bulk modulus, compressibility. Just go through it. Same thing, but only for your notes purpose I have given this. So just go through it and try to make clear notes on your own. One last and final thing for today, that is rigidity modulus of elasticity. Rigidity modulus nothing but when the body fixed at the bottom and the force applied parallel to the surface, then it got shifted by some angle. That is called shear strain. And the tangential force per unit area is called tangential stress or shearing stress. So that shear stress by shear strain, we call it as what? Modulus of elasticity. Now, here the equation, if you take, shear stress is F by A only, already we defined, and shear strain is angle through which it got rotated. Here they have taken pi. You take pi or theta, not a big issue. Then the shearing strain, that is delta x or x by L shear. Delta x means this one. The shift in the position, delta x by L. That is what? The shift. So that is shear strain. Then the rigidity modulus will become, shear stress is nothing but force by area only, by theta or pi. So F by A into pi, where pi equal to delta x by L. So if you substitute F by A into delta x by L, it will become FL by A delta x. So this is the rigidity modulus. This is the rigidity modulus. Now, if you just look at what we have studied today, it's all about what is stress strain curve, how it looks like for a solid body. As you keep on increase the stress, the strain also changes, and how it will change, and what are the points we need to remember, and what kind of materials are there, and on what basis we divided them into ductile and brittle, and what is the meaning of breaking stress, and what is the meaning of fracture point, and what is the meaning of malleability, which depends on crushing point, nothing but yield point in case of compression, and what is the meaning of elastomer, and what is the best example for that, nothing but rubber, and numerical, how the question will be asked, theoretical question will be asked based on the stress strain curve in the entrance, JEE or NEET or CET. And what are the types of modulus of elasticity? What is the definition? What is the formula? Young's modulus, longitudinal stress by longitudinal strain, bulk modulus, volume stress by volume strain, and rigidity modulus, that is shear stress by shear strain, and the corresponding formulas. So that is what we have studied. Practice each and everything. Remember each and every formula. Solve the numericals whatever I have given. I will give you few questions as assignment later. And in the coming class, what we will discuss is comparison based numericals, as I said. And numericals, few more numericals based on bulk modulus and rigidity modulus. And introduction to one more thing, one more concept, that is elastic potential energy of a solid body. So these all things we will study in the coming class. So please revise every time when you come to new class, then only you can understand the things properly. So thank you so much. Thank you all of you.